Then moving on from a top 4 Insta out of a top 6 to my second biggest reason I don't like the anime version, the ending. Now I won't be straightly addressing what happens in the ending, except for one detail that happens after the ending, so sort of the aftermath, I should say, in the anime version. So here there's going to be a major spoiler, just as now remembering to warn you about that. If you don't want to hear anything, skip ahead like maybe 2 to 5 minutes. I'll try to give the time him down there or something. But anyway, basically the ending for the both of is the same, and it involves battle between Weed and the villain Hogan, which is something I do not consider a spoiler because that is something you should expect from a show like this. And in both versions ends the ending with Weeds deciding to spare Hogan's life and being promoted to the leader by Gin, and is similar, but there are still some differences. Like in the anime, Gin kind of says after Weed stops him from killing Hogan that you have surpassed as me, you are better, you are the leader now. While in the manga, he says you have achieved what I expected out of you. You are worthy to become our leader. And then we get an inner thought bubble from Akame thinking, was this all part of the test? Making it all seem like this is a passing of the torch to an equal, more or younger, instead of just saying again like, oh my god, you're a messiah, you are much better than me, which is a far more or better thing to do. But then there's also another thing in the anime. In the manga, after Hogan's defeat and ultimate downfall, there's really no full focus on him other than this little narration about how he was evil and why he kind of felt he had to be evil. While his downfall is different and way more stupidly symbolic in the anime, but then there's the ending sequence after that, where we see Gin and various others mourning over the ones fallen in the war against Hogan, and then Weed says, rest easy in these sacred grounds of O. And then he looks to the side a little, there's another grave there, and he says, you too, Hogan. And as I now watch that, I just can't believe it every time I see it. I mean, they buried Hogan onto the sacred grounds of O. This guy who was not only a tyrant, a conqueror and destroyer of the paradise, willing to use every dirty trick in the book to gain the advantage, was going to attack humans, was a cannibal, a human eater, and a complete merciless bastard, not showing any remorse or mercy towards anyone at any point, and they buried him onto the sacred paradise grounds. I mean, that's almost like taking Hitler and burying him on a Jewish graveyard as this great national hero. What in the fuck? That alone makes the ending just so damn stupid and really pushes Weed's forgiveness level over the top and through every fucking glass ceiling that there is, if that is even appropriate a term to be used here. I really don't know. But regardless of what you feel all about Hogan, and if you're willing to forgive everything that he did, you should not ever honor him the way you are honoring warriors that actually gave their lives for something and contributed into building this paradise. Hogan did everything opposite to that. And that, for the longest time, I thought that was the very reason I hated the anime version so much. But then I came to realize that there's actually one other thing, that pisses me off even more. And that is number 1, the treatment of Gin in Weed. Now, as I first saw how Weed did, I was only so happy to see my favorite character Gin return that I really didn't pay attention to the fact how worthless he ultimately is in the anime version. In the anime version, and his involvement can be summed up like this: he appears, he gets captured by Hogan because Hogan uses Reika as a hostage, and Gin isn't willing to put her life on the line and allows himself to get captured. Later on when John and Hiro, another character who gets involved in this, try to escape, Gin says that he can't escape with them because there's a joint in his back leg is cut and he can't walk. But John speculates that he only says that so that he can stay there and draw some attention to himself, and he also says that if he tries to escape, Hogan will send more troops after them, which is probably accurate. So he stays behind and makes a kind of a noble sacrifice. Then in the anime he's kept prisoner, used as a recruitment tool when Hogan drags him through the snow and brags to everybody, "I have defeated the leader of Hogan, join me now." Then we and others hatch a plan to save him. They save him. Then he shows up at the end, and that's pretty much it. So he basically did nothing to help the heroes. He was only a hindrance, and that's just wrong. Especially when you look at his role in the manga version. In the manga version, and everything in the beginning is the same, except that there comes a point where he is able to escape by his own power because of the distraction at Hogan's camp. And he then happens to get to himself to a veterinarian by sheer luck almost. And when he gets south, he heads to the old mountains and he gathers pets all around to be his army. Now, if he would have had to fight with the army, that would have been pretty bad because the pets don't really know how to fight that well. But he uses it as an intimidation factor, sort of, and he actually manages to talk many of Hogan's troops into changing sides by showing them how crazy and crazily ambitious as Hogan is with his plan of defeating the humans and whatnot. So he actually has a huge role. When you really look at it, it basically cripples over half of Hogan's forces by not really fighting them, by using his charisma and intelligence. And that's great. That's excellent. That's respect for the character. Something that the anime lacks a great deal. And that's just the greatest possible sin that you could commit to a great character like Gin. Okay, so that was my reasons for not really liking the anime version. What I'm ultimately going to say is, don't watch the anime, or if you do, make sure to read the manga as well. Or better yet, read the manga first and then see what a botched translation the anime was.